unsafe water kills more people each year than war and other forms of violence combined. In this speech, I will inform the audience about the dangers of water pollution and the consequences it can have on the environment. I will describe what water pollution is, my personal connection to water pollution, and the impact it has on society. I'm credible to talk about this because I've done the necessary research and I've spoken on this topic before. Everybody needs water. Without it, we won't survive. I'm bringing this topic to light because without it, we will disregard the problem and continue to hurt the earth more. Water pollution is not just dirty water, it is when harmful substances such as chemicals or microorganisms are contaminating a body of water, and it renders it toxic for humans and the environment. Now that I've told you about the topic of my speech, I'll move on to the description. Water pollution is when energy and materials are released into the water and cannot be taken back out. These pollutions include things that are not naturally broken up by water. In my first visual, you can see this is a popular beach covered in pollution. The pollution gets there from the sea to the sand, or either from the sand to the sea. People will go to this beach, they will leave trash all over it, expecting it to be able to just go away. As you can see, there are particles of plastic and paper, things that are not naturally biodegradable in water. My next visual is industrialization's effect on water. Factories and other release their waste into the water and leave behind a trail of toxic sludge. In water pollution, Robert Hennigan states that the urban nature of much of the water pollution problem has become increasingly apparent. It is in metropolitan areas where over 80% of the people live, provide the support for industrial development, generate the increasing demand for water, and produce most of the pollutant input into the water system. In my next visual, you will see that pollution in the ocean causes harm to animals. This animal you can see is injured. It is caught in a mass of ropes and garbage in the water. Most of these animals will not survive if not helped, although it is very difficult to help some of these animals. It takes time and energy that some people don't have, and the animals can become dangerous to the people trying to help them. Now that I've talked about the description of water pollution, I'll move on to my personal connection. Everybody needs water, obviously. My personal connection, I need water from the natural drinking sources near me. If one of those natural drinking sources was polluted or contaminated with chemicals, I wouldn't be able to use it anymore, and it become harder for me and the people in my community to find healthy drinking water. In my next thing, you can see this is a river in Texas covered in trash that people have left behind. It's connected to me because I'm from Texas. I lived there my whole life. It's sad to me to think that something that was once so beautiful is now not anymore because it's covered in trash. My next thing is a sink from tap water. I think we can all connect to this. I use my sink or my shower or anything with tap water every single day. If the water that this was coming from was polluted, I wouldn't be able to use it anymore. It would become very difficult for all of us to find water to use, to shower, to drink. In water pollution, everything you need to know, Melissa Dinchak stated that potentially harmful contaminants from arsenic to copper to lead have been found in the tap water of every single state in the nation. She states that every year, unsafe water sickens about 1 billion people, and low-income communities are disproportionately at risk because their homes are often closest to the most polluting industries. In my next visual, these are some fish that died from the toxicity of the water. These fish, I connect to them because I eat some of the fish that come from the oceans. There are some bacteria that when biodegradable waste is entered into the water, it produces an energy source called organic carbon. when there's like a surplus of this organic matter, of this organic matter, this bacteria fills and it takes all the available oxygen, killing all aquatic animal life. Now that I've talked about my personal connection, I will move on to its impact on society. The impact on society. A lot of things. Society goes, everybody needs water. So society, if one thing of water ran out, society would be very, very bad off. My first visual, you can see, has to do with money. If there was a buildup of trash or sewage or anything on the roads or the beaches, it would take a lot of money from people to get it off and move it. They would have to hire people, they'd have to hire truck drivers to drive the trash to somewhere better, somewhere not close to the water. There's research done that shows that the freshwater pollution and drinking water facilities in individual Americans cost the U.S. about $4.3 trillion annually. My next visual shows transportation is also affected. If there's a little bit of sewage from water pollution on the road, it would be hard to travel from place to place. In a study on water pollution, a group of scientists stated that the need for a rational approach to the problem of water pollution control has been emphasized by Pope, who points out that the basic aim of waste treatment is the improvement of water quality for the benefit of the public. Now move on to my last visual, which is the wildlife. Whenever water pollution gets in with the wildlife, it is very difficult to help them. If there's water pollution where wildlife live or there's contaminants in the water becomes undrinkable and they will eventually die off if not helped. Now that I've talked about the impact on society, I'll move on to my conclusion. In conclusion, I talked about the dangers of water pollution and the consequences it has on the environment. I talked about what water pollution is, my personal connection, and the impact it has on society. In order to reduce the amount of water pollution, we need to reduce, reuse, recycle, and end water pollution by Robert Henry. From the Safe Drinking Water Foundation, Nicole McKay states that in order to prevent water pollution, we in the community need to conserve water, keep litter and debris out of street gutters, keep our vehicles running properly, and use natural cleaners. Thank you for listening.